What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Sweet Talks. I'm Tess, your host. Today, I'm joined by Nameless James. You may know him because he's taking the internet by storm and his face is everywhere. Literally, you have to have seen him. Today, we're going to bake his favorite Christmas dessert and we're going to learn a little bit more about his journey. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I cannot wait to bake with him. So let's go. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you for having me, Tess.
I am so excited that you're here.
I couldn't be more excited to be here. I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to bake.
Yes.
I'm ready to talk.
Okay, but before we get into all this, I don't usually roast my guests. However, you all know him as Nameless James. However, your real name is Jack.
It is.
So, my bone to pick with you is you had all the names in the world to be an alias, and you were like, I'm going to pick James instead of Jack.
Yeah, I could have come up with a more creative name, but I didn't. I missed out on that opportunity. Okay, so it kind of comes from, it came from nothing, but my dad, when he doesn't know somebody, he calls him Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Just as like, hey, Jim.
Right.
And so I kind of was just like, okay. James kind of is like Jim, a little more formal. Well, I don't know where the name came from, guys. I'm so sorry.
Well, at least we now know you as Jack and James. So whatever someone wants to call you, we'll just go with it. Yeah.
You guys can call me whatever you want.
Perfect. Okay, so today we're making your favorite Christmas dessert.
Yes.
Which is a chocolate peanut butter Rice Krispie treat.
Mm-hmm. My mom always used to make them. Mm-hmm. They were my favorite thing to eat as a kid. I would sneak out of bed late at night around Christmas time, go in the little Santa jar, pull his head off the thing, take one out and eat it. But yeah, they're amazing unless you're allergic to peanuts.
Right, then use almond butter.
All
right, are you ready to make them?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, we have our dry ingredients here. We have Rice Krispies, marshmallows. Do you want to put that into this bowl here?
Yes.
While you do that, I'm going to take out, we have, look at that. Chef's kiss. Amazing. I'll take those from you.
Sweet.
Okay, so we have melted peanut butter and chocolate in this bowl. Now, let's give it a good mixy mix.
Sweet.
Oh, amazing.
Look at the wrist work. I could just eat this.
I know. It's so hard not to. It just smells so good.
Wow. Look at that, everybody.
So you want to microwave it in 30-second intervals. This took about a minute 15 seconds, but it really just depends on your microwave, how it works. But 30 seconds, or you could burn it, so do it slowly.
Got it.
So once it's all mixed together and you feel good about it, you can pour that into our dry mixture.
Cool. I'm just gonna...
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I feel like I'm in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I know. This is amazing. Yeah, it smells so good, dude.
Wow.
I'm like a huge peanut butter fiend. Like, eat it out of the jar.
Me too.
Type of thing.
Well, you have a video like that.
I do have a video like that.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. It was like, I was trying to do something for that video. I was trying to do something that was relatable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was going to grab like a beer, a glass of wine. And I was like, you know what? Everybody eats peanut butter out of the jar.
I'm going to give you this. You can just mix it. Everyone eats peanut butter.
Yeah, right? Like, it's kind of crazy if you haven't done that, if you like peanut butter. But, whoa.
Also, like, very ASMR.
Yeah.
That crackle. Snap, crackle, pop. I love it.
This is sweet.
The best part about this dessert, too, is it's no bake. So, for those people who have zero time, they can just... Right? Mm-hmm. You can just put it in the fridge, let it set up, and like you're gonna have a gourmet dessert by the time you get home from whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Do you bake often? Do you bake with your mom when you?
You know what? I do. Like I really like cooking. I'm not great. I'm not great at it, but I like it a lot. My mom was always baking stuff around the house or making breakfast and all that growing up. So.
And now following in her footsteps.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, this is going to be the catalyst.
Cool.
So, now that you've mixed it very thoroughly, very proud of you.
Thanks.
We put it into here. And then we'll just like smush it down a little bit.
Sweet.
Amazing.
Oh, oops, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
This is why I don't bake a lot.
No, the whole point...
I make a mess.
The whole point is that we have fun in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, true.
So I'm the messiest baker ever. Spencer literally always is like, oh my god, it's like a stampede has come. What is happening? And he cleans it.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I'm just as messy. I believe me. I'm a very clumsy person in general. So I'd be shocked if something like this doesn't end up on the floor.
Yeah. Hey, it's still gonna be perfect at the end. All right. So literally that's all the prep work we need to do, and then we put it in the fridge for 3 hours, and then we'll be ready to eat it. So
that sounds good to me.
All right, so we have taken this out of the fridge. It's been 3 hours. It has set up. It's ready to be eaten.
Looks so good.
Basically, we're just gonna cut this, and then we're gonna eat it. So look at that.
Look at that.
It's just like it's perfect.
I could just eat it as like a whole.
Like a slab.
Yeah.
It's like one personal piece.
Yeah, basically.
I love it. Are you ready to eat this?
I am. I was born ready.
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, we have to try this now.
Yeah, I'm dying.
All right, let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Wow. Wait a minute. I wasn't ready for the marshmallow.
It's a whole new feeling. It's a whole new texture. Not melting the marshmallow in it, game changer.
It really is, though. Because, like, every time I eat marshmallow, it's, like, cooked in some way, shape, or form. Fluff, bonfire, all mushed up. This is, like, it's like a nice surprise.
Honestly, the worst part about Rice Krispies to me baking it is getting the mess in the pot when you're melting down the marshmallow. And I'm like, I don't want to clean this up. I don't want to clean this up. So you need it. You need the marshmallow and the Rice Krispie. But this is like gooey while everything else is crunchy.
This is so good.
It's going to give your mom a run for her money at Christmas.
Mom, watch out.
Mom, are you watching this?
Yeah. We got to step up the game, okay? We're getting owned out here.
Is it bringing you back to Christmas time?
It is. It is. I just kind of like, I don't know, something about taste and memory, like I feel like they're so linked, and yeah, it just kind of takes me back to like day before Christmas Eve, like leading up. My mom was baking, and she had dozens of baking sheets out, making these and other things, and you know, as soon as they were done, we would run up and sneak some, and you know, it just kind of brings back all those like old memories, and yeah, wow.
So what was it like growing up? Because you grew up in Chicago.
Grew up in Chicago, so big sports city, like Midwest, so you know, a lot of
Bulls fan?
Yeah, big Bulls fan, huge White Sox fan. I'm not a Cubs fan. I want to make that very clear. Bears.
You heard it here.
You heard it here. Bears fan, of course. And then, you know, Chicago's got like a great food scene, a great music scene. Something like I was scared about moving out here was how the food was going to compare, because Chicago's a foodie town.
What do you miss food-wise from home?
Honestly, like steakhouses and Italian food in Chicago.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And it's probably because like the Midwest is like mostly farmland, you know. Chicago has a really big Mexican influence, and our Mexican food I think is better than out here.
Really?
Yeah. No doubt, because you guys have the advantage of being able to have like seafood as well as part of like Mexican cuisine and like all cuisine, and it's a lot fresher. But yeah, I mean, there's the neighborhood that I lived in when I was living downtown. We had tons of Mexican spots to eat at, grocery stores, clothing stores, like Mexican Western wear spots. Shout out Alcala's on Chicago. I still like the food out here is amazing still. It's just like different. It is different.
Did you grow up with like a food culture? Was your family like, did you gather around food? Is that kind of where you guys had your memories and traditions?
My immediate family, kind of. Otherwise, like, no. Yeah. Because my family, we don't have, you know, we're not like 100% Italian or Mexican or Japanese, you know what I mean? We don't really have a history that we can look back to. And so it was never really like, you know, I had tons of friends who were Italian, and, you know, they had big families, and every single dinner is like a whole thing. And it's all handmade and fresh. And my mom makes amazing food. My dad does a great job grilling and all that, but we gathered more so around like going out to eat, trying new places. Family dinners were always super important growing up. My dad made sure like everyone was home at the right time to eat, and
every night it was family dinner.
Mostly, like mostly growing up, and then, you know, schedules got a little busy with like high school and sports and things like that. But definitely once a week we would for sure have family dinner. Otherwise, it was more than that. It was a couple times a week. We'd go out, we'd try new places, or my mom would she makes really good pasta and some other things, so she would make some food. But
do you have siblings as well?
Yep.
What?
Two. I have an older sister and a younger brother.
Nice.
So I'm the middle child. Forgotten about. Shout out all my middle children out there. Yeah. What about you? Do you have
I have an older brother.
Oh, nice.
So I'm the youngest. I definitely have the youngest child energy. Like, I really embody that and wholeheartedly go into that stereotype.
That's okay. So I love just, like, the fact that you own that.
I know. I mean, like, I am so impulsive. Like, the youngest child is like, you're the baby, right? Okay. And then you also always, got what you wanted when you were younger. Everything is about you. Like, everything is about me. No, I'm kidding. Like, immediately when someone asks me to do something, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's my knee-jerk reaction, and I'm like, that's so youngest sibling of me to be like, I'm not doing whatever you ask me to do, even if I want to do it myself.
Yep.
No.
Yep. That is like just like my brother.
Really?
Yeah, he's the same way.
Yeah. So. And the middle child is like, well, one, I've heard more like erratic, like, or kind of like the goofy for sure.
Definitely.
And then did you have to mediate when you were younger? Is that your personality?
I still mediate.
Peacekeeper?
Yep. Peacekeeper. Also, like, almost to a fault, to where I get involved in an argument that I shouldn't be involved in, and then I end up getting in trouble, or I ended up getting grounded because I said something or I talked back or whatever. And it's always with good intention, you know. Also forgotten a lot. No, I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding.
Like, forgot me at the store.
Yeah, forgot me at the store, forgot me at the airport. No, never happened. But no, I feel like the middle child is like, it's funny because, you know, how my parents, you know, they gave us all the attention, love, support like we needed. But it's just funny because, like, my sister's the only girl. She's the first to do everything, so it's like a major thing. I came along. It's like, oh, you know, we've done this before. Like, he'll be fine if he does that. Oh, he doesn't need this. Like, you know, whatever. Just take Megan's old thing. And blah blah blah. And then my brother, it was like, this is the last time we could spoil anybody. We could do this and that. So, you know, he got everything without asking. Never lifted a finger.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the youngest child syndrome right there.
Yep.
So growing up with your siblings and just like the dynamic that you had with them, what was it like going through school? Were you an overachiever? Were they overachievers? Was it hard to like manage that dynamic because you guys were seemingly different?
Yeah. I mean, it was, I was definitely, like, erratic is a good way to put it. I was erratic and goofy, and I'm just somebody in general who, if I'm not interested, I can't force myself to be. Like, I can't pay attention to something that I don't like or I don't understand what the point is. My brother and sister are a lot better students, way better academically. My brother's got, like, the natural brains, and he can crunch and you know, ace every test that he takes. My sister's super disciplined, and she's able to, you know, study her ass off and, you know, ace anything that she would take. And me, it was like I forgot that we had a test the next day, or like I left my homework at school and I had to like get there early to copy somebody's. Like, that was definitely me through grade school and high school and stuff. But I think what helped me was sports. I played baseball and football through high school. I played football in college at a lower level, and just learned tons of discipline. It helped me to stay on track, helped me to stay like in shape and make good decisions and meet people. And I think that's the one thing that I did a little bit differently than my siblings, which my parents are proud of, is the fact that I like stayed committed to that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I knew it was good for me. Like, even though I knew I wasn't going to go play in the NFL after college. It was Division III, whatever. I knew that choice was better than just going to a school, the party, and, educate.
Yeah.
Get educated, because if I didn't find something interesting or fascinating, I couldn't force myself to pay attention. So in college, it was the same story. If I had to take courses I didn't want to or didn't understand why I was doing it, it was like I didn't do well in those courses.
Absolutely. You obviously knew you weren't going to go pro. That wasn't ever part of your journey.
Never.
But did...
When I was like 9. Yeah.
Right. And you're like, this really crushed my dream at 9 years old knowing.
Like, damn it. I would hang for... I actually want to play basketball, but I loved football. I've spent more time on baseball in the off season. Like during basketball season, I would, I played in grade school, whatever. But I would hang from the chin-up bar in my room to try to get taller, because I knew that was the thing for basketball.
And you're like, this isn't working for me.
No, no. Neither of my parents are like 6 foot, so
It wasn't in the genes, essentially.
I mean, kind of. My mom's dad was 6'4" or something. My
cousin. Your kid is gonna be really tall.
I hope so.
But you are just like a normal sized individual.
Yeah. I always had like a chip on my shoulder though, because I felt smaller than.
Oh, I get what
I like grew later than a lot of people. So.
Yeah. Did you have to so the people I knew who had that same issue, I guess I wouldn't call it an issue, but
it was definitely an issue. To me at the time.
So, okay, but you were shorter when everyone was growing, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Did you find yourself having to compensate with being more masculine?
That's a great
picking
question.
Fights or whatever, masculinity is to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was I think so. I think it came out on the football field. I had a coach that called me cheap shot because I would get a lot of penalties. Uh-huh. Well, he was also a grade school basketball coach, so he knew me from the area, and I fouled out of a lot of games because. But I definitely was I got out my aggression, and I think that was why I like football. I played defense too, so it was you don't have to focus on anything besides your assignment and hitting somebody.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I dealt with it in high school. I looked small. Other teams, they get the roster of people, that your opponent and their height and their weight.
Yeah.
And I know I was always highlighted on the other team's page, we're gonna go after this guy. So I made it a point early on in games to be aggressive and those types of things. I don't think it thankfully I had that. I had football to get that out. Mm-hmm. And I was never I never felt bad for myself or anything like that, but it was definitely something where people just assumed that they were better than me or that they could beat me out or whatever, and so I always had that point to prove, which served me really well. I ended up being an all-conference player in high school and having a great senior year, and playing in college and stuff, and I'm glad that I had what I see as a disadvantage.
Yeah. Did the mentality of having something to prove seep into other aspects of your life?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially with my parents and school and even career, I would always, if I had a disagreement about what I think I should do versus what they thought I should do, I would do anything and everything to prove that I was right, but more so to prove that they were wrong.
Yeah.
And that competitiveness has helped me a ton. Again, it might be a little bit of a fault at times, but I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder always. If it was, in school, I knew that teachers thought I talked out and I wasn't smart. But if I was, if I was like interested in something, I could be the best in the class at whatever it is. Be a like I've had certain things I would shine in because it was like I loved it, but I can't force being like fake about something. So like when it came to career, my parents saying like, you should do this, you should go into this.
What did they want you to go into?
I think, well, one thing that we still talk about that I've never actually had off the table because I agree with them is law school. Mm-hmm. My dad's a child lawyer. Has helped countless people who've been, at the short end, life handed them the short end of the stick or whatever. And it's inspiring seeing like those things, and I get the value of being like, going to law school and getting through that. But in general, it was more like post college, like where are you gonna work? What are you gonna do? Like, why don't you take it? Why do you want to work at this startup? Why don't you go take like a better marketing job or a better sales job with more pay and a bigger company and more protection? And I just like didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so, in that example specifically, in college, I was writing a lot on my own. That's how I first got into content. And someone from high school reached out and talked about how his brother was a writer, had a book, publishing online all the time, had a big following, and was starting a company where they offered writing services. And I worked for free for him for a little bit, and they started the company. And by the time senior year was done, they had a couple of employees and hired me full time, like right out of college. So I didn't, I think that was like one of the first times I felt like I won with my parents because I think they were a little nervous that I wouldn't have a job after college.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna write, and that's all that matters. And by the end of the year, they had a full-time role for me.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. When the company ended up disbanding, my parents were never like, I told you so or anything. I think they were actually like proud that I took the decision and went through that experience. But, again, over time, they were like, okay, maybe you need something more stable.
Right.
Joined another startup. That one shut down, or we got let go because of COVID.
Right. 3
months into that, and then it was, I'm just going to get on TikTok, and I'm going to figure this shit out myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like, I'm going to figure TikTok out. It was like, I'm just going to figure out my career by myself.
Right.
I know I can write. I've gained a following as a writer. I've been published in a couple of places. I know how to sell writing as a service.
What types of things did you write about?
I would just write about habit building. If I would read a book, I'd summarize lessons about personal growth. After writing a lot, I wrote about writing and how to do it, how to build a following. But a lot of like personal branding and marketing tips, and really like opinion based, hey, here's what's working for me.
Right.
But a lot of publications like that sort of thing. So there's always an audience that's interested. And like knowing that, I was just like, okay, if I can just publish things, it'll help me. And getting content out there helps me. So
you found TikTok. So you were laid off because obviously COVID happened and then the company went under.
Yeah.
And then did you have a job in the pandemic, or you're like, oh, I'm just gonna I'm laid off, I'm gonna go on TikTok for fun? How did that journey start?
Yeah, so it was, I was like, okay, it's happening again.
It's happening again.
My mom's gonna kill me. And it was early on in the COVID, like the news about COVID. It was, I was within the first, million people or so to file for unemployment. It ended up 2 months later, it was like 50 million people had filed,
Yeah.
So I was, definitely discouraged a little bit, but it was like at that moment, like the second we got the news, I was like, I can't live my life around someone else holding the keys to my career, so to speak. So having written online so much and understanding what it takes to build on a platform, and TikTok being as popular as it was getting going into March 2020, I was like, okay, I can use the same principles I know as a writer, publish consistently, give people something, whether it's entertainment or education, and just make sure it's good quality. I started doing it every single day and figuring out the platform just as I did writing, and within 3 months I had like 100,000 followers and completely like blew up. And I knew at that point, okay, I'm just gonna keep pushing this, and I know soon enough brand deals will come. In the meantime, I was still doing a lot of freelance writing to make money and those types of things. But 2020 I just really pushed it. 2021 I started to get regular brand deals, and the more of those that I did, the more that came to me. And now it's like I'm filling my schedule all day with things I have to do for my brand on TikTok and Instagram, as well as like writing clients that I have. And I've started another business now where I coach people or help with strategy around TikTok and Instagram Reels, how to grow a brand page, how to grow a personal page, working with influencers, what's a good deal for the brand, what's a good deal for an influencer who's looking to do this full time. It's been great. So it's like definitely a huge learning curve and growth curve, and like I don't know where everything's going, but I know that if I just keep my head down and trust my gut, that I could do something with it.
So you mentioned earlier that you were really competitive, obviously with sports, but just in general in life. Do you find that you're competitive with yourself? What's that like, especially on social media and your job? How do you deal with that?
You should see like my behind the scenes footage of me filming a TikTok.
Oh my god, what does it look like?
I like talk so down to myself. It's so bad.
That's not good.
I know.
That's not good.
That's what Bella says. Is she's like, you can't be saying that about yourself. But I really am a perfectionist. At least what I think is like this content needs to be here for me to feel good about it before I post it. And sometimes it takes me hours to make a TikTok. Like I started out on TikTok just lip syncing audios, and I tried to find really difficult ones.
Right.
And I always made it like clear that's what I was doing. Like I would be very expressive with my face and maybe what I was wearing just to be funny and blah blah blah. But I would sit there for hours and make sure I was like nailing everything, every breath, every whatever, just so that no one was distracted by bad lip syncing and they were focused on like what was happening or the joke I was trying to tell. So I find that it's hard not to be competitive with myself, especially because this is like the only arena. I don't play organized sports anymore or do anything like that. Like I can't get that competitiveness out. With myself, I just like, it's funny because my 2020 self would be so pumped about everything that's happening right now, but my 2022 self is just looking at I don't have enough. I need to be doing more. I need to be putting more content on. I need to be on other platforms. Like this type of content that I'm doing that's working well is only going to last so long. What's going to happen when it dies out? Like I need to get I always feel behind. I always feel like I need to be on to the next thing, which that's what helped me to get, or that's what helped me to be successful on TikTok, was that I felt like, as I started to grow on the platform, I felt like I was behind, even though friends and family were like, that's so cool, your page is growing so much. I was always frustrated and still got to get a video out. And
Has it stopped you from enjoying? I mean, you said that obviously your 2020 self would be super stoked, and you're not as stoked as you would think you should be.
Yeah.
Do you ever get to stop and enjoy the moment, like, in all honesty, or are you always just looking ahead that you don't get to think of, wow, I'm proud of myself?
I'd like to say that I'm proud of myself, but I think in the moment I'm not, you know? I think when I look back, I'm proud of myself. And if I can talk to my younger self, I would tell myself, you're on the right path, keep going, trust it. But yeah, like as it's happening, it's like, I gotta make sure I get this done today. I gotta make sure I'm posting this and that. You know, I haven't had a lot of videos do well recently. Like maybe I try a couple new things, and you know, I'm always just like, my brain doesn't really stop. You know, I'm just like that kind of person where sometimes people think I might not be paying attention to them because I'm so lost in something else that's going on in my head. And it's just it's like tough to be proud of yourself in the moment you're creating or doing something without first like seeing the validation of a successful video. You know, when I make a video, there's only been a few times, like, at the end of it, I'm, like, so happy about it, and I don't care if it goes viral or does anything, you know? Other times, I'm like, this fucking video better go viral. And it's not about that, but it's like, I'm trying so hard. Like, I really am. And so, you know, I can't be, it's like, you know, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Like, you know, you're not a baller till you sign the contract, and you start contributing to the team. So it's like that same mentality. It goes back to competitiveness. It's like, I can't be proud of myself. I can't be satisfied in the moment. Looking back, sure, but
are you scared that you're going to get to a point in your life where you're going to sit down, look back, and be like, okay, well, obviously I was proud, but I didn't enjoy a single moment?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I think overall I'm happy. Like, I'm happier than I've been, you know, my whole life. Besides, you know, when you're a little kid and everything's
ice cream is like literally the best thing you could ever get.
Yeah, exactly. I think you know, I at the end of the day, I make like funny videos on the internet, and then I coach people on how to do that.
Yeah.
Or I write, which I love to do. It's my first like outlet, you know, like that type of just like expressive like activity that I did. And I'm just I don't think I that's a great question, because I don't think I'll ever look back, or I hope I'll never look back and say like, I'm not happy I didn't enjoy that more. But yeah, that's so, because I'm thinking of these. Sorry, I'm like, I'm thinking of these things that I've been able to do, and it's like, it might be nothing to some people, and that's how my brain thinks. It's like, okay, well, who cares? Or like, there's people who are doing so much cooler things. But like, never been to Coachella. Was able to go this year, not to the festival, but to other festivals like around. I had a brand deal for the festival itself, so I was like working with a brand and got invited to really cool things and met really cool people, and I'm like so happy I got to do that. I was still in like work mode, and like, I don't know how other creators go about it or like influencers go about it, but like, to me, I take it very seriously, even though I goof around. It's like, I want to make a connection with the brand manager, or the, you know, whoever's helping me with this deal, whatever company it is, whoever that rep is that I'm working with. Like, I want to be friends with them. I want to know what they need. I want the feedback. Like, I take it super seriously. So being in that mode all the time, I guess sometimes like just stopping and enjoying slips your mind a little bit. Sure. But no matter what, I got to do that, which is so awesome. And like, that's what my life has become now. So I never talk about this. This is so crazy to me. I never talk about it.
I'm glad that I can, like, talk to you. You can always talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, this is like a therapy.
It is. Yeah. So you made a comment about validation, where not usually you finish a video and are like, solid, I don't care what happens with this. You clearly want them to do well always.
Yeah.
My thing is, what you hear from large social creators are that they're not necessarily always happy, in the sense of their job is validation, right? Like, their videos have to do well to get paid. They have to have group think situations where others are like, you rock. That has to happen. How do you feel on a day-to-day basis knowing that your success in that platform, in that space, relies on other people's opinions and views and how they think of you?
Yeah. It's a tricky situation. Like, no matter what, at the end of the day, like, my career, making videos and trying to make people laugh and trying to say, I make good quality content that's relatable, comedic, and resonates. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to say that is amazing, and no one should be complaining about that. But there is a lot of pressure when people are demanding things from you.
Yeah.
I talk to a couple other creators regularly. I have, a lot of friends who started on TikTok at the same time as me, and we're all friends because we supported one another and shared each other's videos and commented on each other's stuff and all that. And that's the biggest thing that they deal with, is like, I want to get away from this character so badly, but I just can't, because like everything's gonna, go away. And it's like, it is a real fear that people have, and it does suck at times, because people need to realize it's not like, oh, well, why are you complaining? Like, you make videos for a living. It's like, I don't know where money's coming from.
Right.
Like, I don't have insurance. Like, I don't fucking know where my life is going. Yeah, it's fun, but like, it's fun because I'm taking this risk, and like, it's fun it's whatever, but it's a grind. There's a lot that goes into it.
Do you feel like you live your life for yourself or for others?
At the end of the day, I'm ultimately doing what I want to do, and I'm happier than I've been, since, again, I was a kid, because I feel confident in, even though I don't know where it's going, I feel confident in the decisions I've made. The most important things to me in my life are my relationships, my family, my relationship, my friends. So in a lot of ways, like, I would drop anything, like everything I'm doing, if it meant someone else who I love can succeed. But so in that way, like, and I guess, like, in that way, like, I've done things where, growing up, where I've like sacrificed my own time, or like something that I was doing for others that I care about to like benefit. And then I guess now I sacrifice my happiness sometimes to please people online, and for the validation. But I'd like to think that, like, ultimately I'm living for myself, and like, I hope that I can own that a little bit more. It's hard. It's hard to,
well, because like, when you grow up, the validation is your parents. You want to make them happy, especially if you have a really good relationship with them. You just want them to be proud of you. So that's validation number one. That's the first part of your life. Then second is friends, or like popularity, or sports for you. Like, the validation of, I'm a good football player, I'm a good student. I mean, it's very much football. But then now, because your job is to make people laugh, now your validation has gone from like all the way from your parents to people on the internet, and it's like your life has just been a zigzag of the attention is like addicting, right? Like, if people are like, oh my god, you're so funny, you're like, I'm funny, like, I have to keep going because I'm funny. And like, you just want to keep people laughing, and you want people to think you're funny, because you're like, I'm funny, I know I'm funny, but like, you need to think I'm funny.
True.
Do you feel like you ever get a day off?
No. No.
Do you want a day off sometimes?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I really can't, like, post. Like, I mean, I had food poisoning.
Oh, my.
It was terrible.
That's horrible.
It was brutal.
Do you know what it was from?
Yes.
Should we go back to this moment for you?
Yeah. It was a fucking uncooked burger. Because we asked for medium rare, and I know it was frozen.
Oh.
And
okay.
it just wasn't cooked all the way through. Because the middle was, like, not very warm.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like, you know, some people like really rare steak, and it's a little... It wasn't like that. It was like, this is just not
straight
safe.
From the freezer section.
This is, like, not safe meat.
Yeah.
And ate the burger anyway. And
you're like, I know this is wrong, and I'm gonna do it anyway.
I'm not even kidding. I looked at it, and I looked at Bella, and I'm like, she was just like, yeah, she didn't really want any, like, much of the burger. We always split food. She didn't really want much of the burger, so I ate the whole thing, and woke up in the middle of the night and just so sick. I was super out of it. I didn't post anything. I still got a little, like, peeved at I felt stressed, you know, even though I, like, couldn't get out of bed that whole day because I hadn't slept and I had no food in me. I couldn't hold anything down. Like, I was still stressed. I'm like, I could have fucking posted an old video today.
Yeah. And
whatever. And, you know, yeah. So I think, like, if I could pause time and go on vacation for a week, you know, it sounds ridiculous to people because people are like, you goof around all day and you live in Southern California and you travel to places to do things and go to events and stuff. But it's like, I wish I didn't have an obligation. You know, I'm working all weekend long. Like, I'm, you know, whether it's writing clients, consulting, I'm so behind. I'm so much. And that's the other thing.
And you're never ahead. You're always behind. There's more things you could always be doing.
Never. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's stressful too because your lifestyle, you're just relatable in all senses.
Yeah,
and
I'm just trying.
When you are, I mean, I think that you're extremely relatable.
Thank you.
But when you go on vacation, you still have to post because that's relatable. When you're on the beach drinking a Mai Tai, like, that's relatable.
Yeah.
And, like, that's content to you. Where I'm in the food space. So I'm on a beach. No one cares if I have a Mai Tai.
Yeah.
They only care if I made some dessert on the beach. And so I feel like the niche you're in, which is very broad, you have so much pressure to post whatever you're doing at all times of the day.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it like that. Yeah. Thank you.
So you feel these pressures. Have you found coping mechanisms for when you get really stressed or if there's a block in creativity? How do you unwind, obviously without taking the day off?
Yeah, I mean, like, just in a quick, like, I need to unwind type of way, like, type of scenario, I mean, I love the sun. Like, I love being outside.
Yeah. Great place to be in Orange County.
Yeah. So, being outside is really important.
Yeah.
When I lived at, even, you know, before all of this, when I was just working for this startup, I lived at home. It was right after college, and I would go golf by myself, like, every day.
Nice.
And that made it so much easier for me later that night to write an article because I got away from my computer. I was outside. I wasn't on my phone very much, and I'd be by myself, and it'd be quiet, and I'd golf, and that would be it. So now it's longboarding. It's like I'm getting into surfing, so I want to do that more. You know, being an athlete, like working out, those types of things. I like cooking, or just like helping other people. I think like conversation is. I'm super extroverted and like. I love talking to people, so if I'm really burnt out and I don't know I'm burnt out, I catch myself calling all my friends or trying to FaceTime people, even if they're at work. Because I'm
You're
just
like, what are you doing? At work? Cool, let's talk.
I'm like, I just need a conversation or something, and then I reset a little bit. So, but being outside, like that, I can go outside for 10 minutes and I feel better. Like, I already feel better, Yeah. What about you? What do you do?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I go on walks every day.
Nice.
So I'm like super pale. You would have no idea that I go outside, but I
No, I mean, it's like walks or something I should probably do more.
Yeah.
I'm like,
get in your steps.
Yeah.
So I walk. Sometimes I get a tea on my walk. It's like my goal, right? I'm like, I have to walk all the way there so I can get a tea and come back.
Love
TV and reading.
Got it.
Love that. And then baking. I mean, like, baking is so therapeutic.
Yeah.
And then obviously talking to people. I love talking to people.
Same.
But I'm actually really introverted.
Oh.
So I like really intimate settings. Like, if you're like come to a party, I would have to think about it for a few hours and then like reluctantly.
I'm kind of that way. I'm like extroverted in the way that like I feel like if I'm in line at the coffee shop, I can talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I get intimidated by big social settings unless I'm like, it's very familiar to me.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, like I can go to this without thinking. But a lot of times I want to stay home or not do something because I'm like, I would rather have something like this.
Me too.
You sit down, bonfire, food, or like go hang at the beach, whatever, have some drinks with friends. Like I love those types of things.
I like the meaningful conversations, like the surface level things that we did in college. We were like, what frat are you in? Where do you go on the weekends? Like that doesn't do it for me anymore. And I'm like, I want, a few great friends that we can all chill for like hours, like 2 a.m. sleepover back, like, taking it back to middle school where you're just like up all night talking about all of the things and like all of your perspectives, and that's like fulfillment to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like, I was like that in high school too. Like I like to have parties with friends. We try to like get a bunch of people together or whatever, but at the end of the day, I really love just like my small group of friends that I was able to, hang with after football practice or like on a Friday night just going to someone's basement and like sneaking some beers and like,
right, like that's so cool.
Yeah, just like watching like a movie or whatever. That's always my favorite memories were like literally when like some of my friends would sleep over and we'd like, sneak out and smoke weed. Like that's
Mom, that never happened.
It never happened. But no, it's just like so much more meaningful.
What are your goals for yourself? What do you see success is for you in your future?
Goals for myself in general, keep trusting my gut, keep doing things that make me happy. But I think I'm happiest when I see other people who I think have a lot of talent or passion succeed. So if I could be some sort of facilitator to those types of people, that would be an amazing life accomplishment for me. I really just think there are people that either don't believe in themselves enough or they just don't know how.
Yes.
And if I could be like an example, by showing them my page, but then also like giving them the tools or the confidence to succeed on their own, I would feel super fulfilled.
I love that.
Thanks.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so refreshing.
Thank you.
Everything that you are talking about and that you are feeling, like I feel myself. So
That's
this
awesome.
has been so therapeutic for
Cheers
me.
to that.
All right. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone.